I know we're live. I know. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy at all. Let me get this pop-out chat going. Let me get this pop-out chat going. Go here. Go there. Move this over here. Hey, what are we doing here? Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. It's your boy Porter Rock 77, your only friend in these YouTube streets, coming back at you live with another video, another live stream. Check out the description box, of course. There you see my Twitter handle. Hit me up with a follow if you're new, if you haven't already, so we could continue the conversation. And thank you so much for the support. For those who donate through PayPal, thank you so much. For those who are sponsors, and then of course those who participate in the super chat. I'm gonna make another live video or recorded video sometime next week if I get the opportunity over the phone. I want your guys' thoughts on Patreon. I got a couple of DMs on gamers wondering when I'm gonna do my Patreon. And I'm not sure about that because of my busy schedule. There's things that I can't guarantee. You know, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to play a game with y'all. You know, some of the benefits, because I've seen other people's Patreon, they do a lot of great things. They give a lot of giveaways because of their connections. Oddly enough, I don't have those deep level connections. It's just certain things I won't be able to promise and deliver. But the reply back is most of them want to donate and support the channel, but they don't like PayPal. And most of the time they said that they're unable to catch the show live. So they watch it recorded, and at that point, they can't support the super chat, whatever. So I guess some people just prefer the Patreon system. They don't like PayPal because they don't want to give up their credit card information, and they're not around for the live. So that's what I got. So it just seems to me for some people, it's a means of being able to support the channel, and they just like Patreon. For them, Patreon is the best way to support their favorite content providers, regardless of what it is. So I'll make a video, and you guys let me know what you think about that. But anyway, so what's up? Let me go down the chat to my boy Mark, to my mods, like what's going on. Christian McCoy, Star Maid, Jackknife, who's next? Ripper Clash, Sneaky Snake, D, Reunion K, what's going on? In fact, Reunion K, let me do something. You know what I'm saying? Ehsan Rashid, what's going on? Vid K, Melahuak, Melahuak. Man, Melahuak. I hope I didn't. Man, I'm sorry if I'm abortioning y'all names. DJ Almighty Spartan, Money Mac, Chris Righteous, my man Lionel Bolgan, what's good? What's going on? Anthony Kowana, you know, Solid as Snake, what's good? Akurai Kian, Akuri, Akarui, Akuri Kian. Man, I'm fucking on. I'm sounding illiterate as fuck. Triggers Retro. What the fuck? I'm not gonna say that out loud. I'll just call you Triggers. You know, my man Ruben Delgado was good. Man, who else we got down here? Jamal, what's up? You know, $2 super chat. That Analog Circle podcast. My dog, I love what you do, brother. Stay great. Analog Circle podcast. If you run a channel, I'll check it out. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate the $2 super chat. We'll see what's up. You know, I'll check your content out. Who knows? Maybe I'll get you as a guest up in here. It's DJ. What's good? Raymond Rodriguez. Miss Bossy. What's going on, Miss Bossy? You fancy girl. Zach Bell. Zach Bell. Is the T silent? Zach Bell. Zach Bell. Man, y'all motherfuckers are testing my reading skills up in this. Man, shit. Rick Hunter, Reginald Jordan, what's good? Taco, Jamal. What else we got down here? Man, everybody's up in here. Everybody's just enjoying. How's everybody doing? Sunny in VR. We chilling up in here. No one understands me, bro. I told you I understand you because I'm your only friend in these YouTube streets. Brett Reed, Omega, he's up in here. Skip Bayless, Stephen King was good. DG Breezy, damn, what's going on? Phaedrus Socrates. God, I'm a fucking you guys are fucking me up here today. Yeah, I was about to say Socrates. You ever seen Bill and Ted's? Okay, Phaedrus. That motherfucker's fucking up with these names today. Y'all got me fucked up. My man Socrates, what's going on? Holy shit, the random guy. Man, y'all need to can y'all have Trunks fuck yo bitch? Holy shit. My man Harry, what's going on, brother? How's everything? The random guy, of course. Latrell Bryan. Woo, we going down the line. Liam, Trust of Faith. What's up? Ryan, what's going on, brother? What else we got down here? Shit. Y'all motherfuckers, man. Socrates, Gator, what's going on? Overdone. What's going on? Man, learn German yet? Shit, that language is hard as hell. I ain't gonna lie. German is a hard language. Holy shit. It's a difficult language. Let's see. Gero Bear. Shit. P Rock can't read. Man, shit, I can't read. More like it. Shit's fucking. I'm looking like y'all motherfuckers got me looking like Floyd Mayweather up in here without the money. At least he's rich. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So I can't. Oh shit. Cali Rex was good. Berserker. You know what I'm saying? Angel Joe. What's going on? Hey, no PlayStation. Oh no, we talking PlayStation. Of course, that's what we do, but I get the mood going in. I get the people get in the chat. I let the room fill up a little bit, I don't talk too early, bullshit a little bit. Acknowledge you guys, you know what I'm saying? Because it's definitely I like to take the time to acknowledge you guys. My man says, PR saying, I'll join your show when I become more verbal like Tupac. Holy shit. I don't need you coming up on the podcast saying, fuck the world, don't ask me for shit. Don't be going out here fucking doing hit them up and shit, Game Over HD was good. Biggie said, more money, more problems. Oh, yeah. I don't know. And he also said, you're nobody till somebody kills you. What's this? Loanis Stefanakis Guten Abend. So you're speaking German. Okay. Now we really want to fuck me up. All right. Good. Embarrass me live. All right. Hey, P-Rock, you never responded to my retweet at you are down for playing some Warframe. I can help you out. Oh, so not so much help you out. I never really played the game. For some reason, I keep hearing so much about it. I just never really jumped on to Warframe. I just never did. The question is, do I want to start? I don't know. Maybe. I'll take you up on it. I'll think about it. Because I heard it's awesome. It's fantastic. Has a lot of depth. It's not, there's just a lot of games I'm trying to catch up to. I'm trying to catch up to. I have to play Persona. I want to try out Yakuza. I got Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush 1 and 2 that I gotta play. Mass Effect, The Witcher, Deus Ex. I got a lot of games that I want to try to bang out and knock out. Batman, the second one, whatever it's called. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot, man, dude. It's a good time for gaming. It's a good time to be a gamer. I can't remember the last time I was this overwhelmed with games. But thank you for the offer. We'll see what's up, man. Warframe is a lot of grinding. I could imagine. I don't know. I even stopped playing Destiny 2 because of that. It was just shit. That's the thing. For the people who don't play a lot of games, they only play 2 or 3 games a year, whatever, and they buy games like Destiny. They play games like Warframe. Great value for those type of games. For people who don't buy a lot of games because there's so much to do, so much to keep you entertained for a long period of time. But I want to try. I like to play a lot of games. That's the thing. So when I say I'm not a multiplayer guy, it's not that I don't enjoy multiplayer because I do. I just don't want to invest that much into multiplayer because the more you play one particular game for a period of a year, you're missing out on so many other games. And I just love to play different experiences in different genres other than racing because, we all know racing games are garbage. Max Sevilla, what's going on, brother? Warframe isn't that much of a grind if you have people who help. Okay. My man Lionel P Rocks mix out here giving out free PS4 Pros. Yo, that shit is wild. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man, I wish I pulled up the tweet. Yo, Mixer is straight up sponsoring PlayStation Pro. I mean, somebody tweeted, man, I don't own a PlayStation. You know, should I get one? And Mixer's like, yeah, man, you can't go wrong with a PlayStation Pro. You would think that would be the perfect time for them to say, well, you know, if you really want the best, you know, in entertainment, try an Xbox One X. Nah, they say you can't go wrong with a PlayStation. Yo, that's crazy, dog. Yo, hold on. Let me do another thing. Hold up. Let me do this right here. Yo, that's crazy. That had me dying, bro. But I'm gonna tell you, here it is. It's what I said before. You know, it's what I've been saying before. I think MS is going for that third-party type environment where they make games for everybody. I think they're transitioning from trying to be focused on just the Xbox and compete at that level with other individual platforms to now pulling themselves away from Xbox device gaming to now Xbox as a service and as a games provider. So Xbox is now no different than being called EA or Activision. You know what I'm saying? It's that type of gaming, you know? And I think that's what Microsoft is trying to do. So them supporting, or not even say supporting, but well, they do support Sony because remember, I said this a couple of times, they own services that Sony purchased. Ruben Burke, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. All right. Shout out to Ruben out here in the chat. But like I said before, Microsoft has services and products that Sony pays for. You know, PlayFab and Simply Gone, those are things Sony pays for to help them make their games and services and all that stuff, right? Microsoft owns them. Havoc, Sony licenses those products for their games also. And Sony doesn't have an issue with that because that's what those tools benefit them in making their games. Microsoft makes money off that. So from a Microsoft perspective, why not make money? Why not get people, if people want to play PlayStation, right? If the majority of people on consoles are playing PlayStation, right? And Microsoft owns a Mixer service, they didn't make Mixer so that way Xbox has exclusive access to streaming service. No, they want to compete with Twitch. Twitch is a multi-platform streaming service that everyone has access to. That's what Microsoft wants with Mixer. So they're trying to pull in the PlayStation gamers. I'm telling you, there's going to be an announcement eventually where Microsoft makes their games for PlayStation. And people are like, oh, it's because of hardware. Microsoft doesn't give a fuck about their hardware in that sense anymore. Not that they don't care about their hardware in general, you know, that they're making, but it's exclusive hardware to Microsoft. But yet all the services and features and productivity that the Surface has is not exclusive to the Surface. It's also available to its competitors that Toshiba makes, that Dell makes, that Hewlett-Packard makes. You know, they all have the same features and exclusive stuff that, you know, the productivity stuff. It's not exclusive to Surface. There's nothing exclusive to Surface in terms of software productivity that Microsoft makes. Nothing. It is all available on other competing hardware devices. That is the direction I think Microsoft is going to go. They're going to provide everything on every other device. They're simply making Xbox for those who want an Xbox, no different than they make Surface tablets for those who want a Surface tablets. Plain and simple. Another super chat, Red Hood 420. Thank you for the super chat. Do you think the 4 games will have demo formats? Let's talk about that. This good segue. All right. Hit the like button. And we're going to go in on this. All right. Hello Storm was good. Hit the like button right now. Retweet this out. So, I got triggered today. Because motherfucking, so my man Wolf, Iron Wolf, right? The man, you know what I'm saying? You got to give, you know, when you look back, you got to give Iron Wolf props. Because he was the first one to defect over to the PlayStation side. Remember he did the big defection after what is it, a PSX 2016? Iron Wolf says, man, fuck this shit. I'm going to PlayStation. I'm going for greatness. And everybody was on his ass. Everybody. My man Iron Wolf was getting jabs. You know, they were throwing stones. They were doing the Passion of Christ on them. They were whooping them. Xbox community just tearing them up. PlayStation community was making fun of him. I mean, he was going to tear up. Now, lo and behold, here we are now. Can we not agree that Iron Wolf was right from the start? That it was time to leave Xbox and jump over to PlayStation. Now, he still plays Xbox, but he fully supports the vision PlayStation has. When he was a diehard Xbox dude, when my man was out there saying, you know, Xbox Cloud's more powerful than 4 Titans. I mean, he was all over it, right? But looking back, he was the first defector. Now, a year later, you know what I'm saying? From his defection, everybody's doing the same thing. So he just saw the vision. He saw it first before everyone else, you know? Now it's a style to jump ship, all right? So now we're going to talk about that. So let me get some super chat here. The Analog Circle podcast. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Do you think Xbox will be disappointing at E3, or do you think they will show up to the dance? All right, so I'll answer that question. I'm hoping they show up to the dance. That is what I'm hoping. All right, I own an Xbox. Many of us owns an Xbox. Of course, everybody talks shit a jab, but I bought an Xbox to play Xbox games. That's what I'm hoping for. So I hope they do deliver. I hope they also deliver for the sake of the brand, you know, because these last 2 years will feed into the next generation. And if they don't finish off strong, at least with announcements, a game plan of the type of games and compelling games that they plan to release, if they don't do that, people are going to go look at next gen and be like, why should I buy an Xbox? What will Xbox do for me? Of course, you're going to have the hardcore Xbox dudes. They're going to buy Xbox day one. But after that, that just trickles down. You know, it's no different than the hardcore PlayStation fans that bought a PS3 at launch for $600. You're always going to have those animals. I hope they show up to the dance. I hope they do something. I just don't know what. I honestly don't know what they're going to do. So we'll just see. We'll just see how that plays out. But we got to wish Microsoft for the best because it's important that they have competition, which will lead to a little bit of my conversation. D, my man D. Hold on. Damn, it's great. All right, D, 981. Sony don't want anything Microsoft on their shit. You know, here's the thing. If Microsoft decides to convert to a more third-party output, then at that point, the relationship of being a competitor kind of breaks. And Sony will gladly take Microsoft IPs on their platform, you know? So we'll talk about that, okay? We'll scroll down out here. All right, so got triggered a little bit initially because Push Square released an article that says Sony won't be holding a traditional press conference at E3 2018, instead focusing on 4 key titles. I'm going to read. It says, Sony has just announced its plans for next month's E3 showcase, and it doesn't seem like we'll be getting a traditional press conference from the platform holder. Instead, PlayStation is choosing to highlight 4 upcoming titles through live streams on 11 June. Those 4 games are Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, and The Last of Us Part 2. Sean Layden took to the PlayStation blogcast to state that there will be third-party announcements, but they won't take place on a Sony stage. We've been ever so slightly skeptical of a Sony conference at this year's E3, and it seems like those 4 have rung true. With the vast majority of Sony internal studios already working on announced projects, there simply isn't much left to reveal. How do you feel about this? Further disappointment in the comments below. Now they updated. Update number 1. New information via the PlayStation blog makes this sound like a more traditional affair than originally anticipated, so frankly, we haven't got a clue what's going on. The whole thing will unfold on 11 June. Update number 2, a live audience will be attendance at the showcase. So they updated it. Sony's having their E3 conference. So why am I making this video? Simple. Number 1. When I read the article before the update, I went to the blogcast and I listened to it. And I listened to a blogcast. I don't know how they confused it. Nothing Sean Layden said was that you're going to have like a treehouse event or something Nintendo does. The only thing he said that was different from other E3s was there's going to be a particular focus on 4 specific games. That's all. That's the only difference, right? Which was, you know, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, and The Last of Us 2. There's going to be in-depth coverage on those for specific games. Now, normally, games will only have maybe a 10-minute coverage or whatever. So it sounds like we're going to have a decent amount of coverage on each game, right? On each game. So we could talk about gameplay, all that stuff, right? So that's the only difference. They even asked them, right? Where's my thing? Here we go. And I'll play for you right now, if y'all can listen. They even asked him, is that all? Will there be more stuff? And he's like, oh, yeah, there'll be more stuff. Watch. So listen.
And, sometimes, we'll point to, there might be an update on this or there might be an update on that. But it is certainly very exciting to know heading into the show that we're going to be getting a new look at Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Now, I presume that's not it, though.
No, there will be others. We'll have some announcements with our third-party publishing partners.
Cool.
We'll have some news things to talk about there, as well as our continued support for independent development.
Good.
And we'll put some
You hear that?
highlight on that. But as chairman of Worldwide Studios, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
After that, and everyone will get to 3. We're going to be live streaming.
Yes, as always.
Now.
Yes.
As
Now. Right there, that thing that confused a lot of people.
As always, it'll be.
You hear that? That part where it says live streaming
Available on.
I don't know why it confused people.
Happy Facebook, YouTube, and others.
And this thing sucks. What are we doing here?
As chairman of Worldwide Studios, please forgive me if I take this mic moment so I can generate even greater excitement amongst the community to look forward to E3. We're going to be live streaming.
Yes, as always.
As always.
They'll be live streaming as always, meaning they're going to show it live, just like last year. So they're not doing a treehouse. They're just, I think people took the term live streaming as, it's only going to be, no, they're going to live stream the event as they always do. It's a live stream. That's what it's called. It's a live stream of the E3 conference. I don't know how they confuse that. And as you heard, that's not it. Let me go back to that part.
Available on,
Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima,
listen,
Spider-Man, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Now, I presume that's not it, though.
No, there will be others. We'll have some announcements with our third-party publishing partners.
Cool.
We'll have some news things to talk about there, as well as our continued support for independent development.
You see? D981, $2 super. Thank you so much. Xbox One X for 4K YouTube. Just trolling again. My man, you guys are ruthless, bro. 4K YouTube. Don't forget exclusive 4K UHD Black Panther on disc. A lot of caveats to that. All right. So you heard him there. Straight from Sean Laney. No, they're going to have third-party announcements. He also said they're going to new announcements, and they're going to have indie announcements. So it's interesting. I'm interested in the second point he said, because he mentioned third-party announcements, then he mentioned new announcements, and then he mentioned indie announcements. So those new announcements could be potential more games. All right. So we're going to have a traditional E3, except for there's going to be a focus on 4 games. There's going to be an in-depth focus on The Last of Us, in-depth focus on Death Stranding, in-depth focus on Ghost of Tsushima, in-depth focus on Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man comes out in September. We saw an in-depth view on Spider-Man, thanks to Game Informer. So I guess, getting more in-depth on that game. Okay, I get it. All right. What I'm really interested is, not saying that I'm not interested in the other games, but Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding. I'm really interested in those because we haven't gotten much out of it. We only saw one reveal trailer on Ghost of Tsushima, and we only saw, trailer stories of The Last of Us. So hopefully, they could go into more details of gameplays, especially The Last of Us multiplayer. How's that going to pan out? Because that was a decent part. I'll say that was a decent part to Last of Us because the multiplayer was very unique. My man Harry, what's going on with Sec 50? Thank you so much. Spider-Man will score 91 to 93 Metacritic and sell 6 mil in one single week. Spider-Man will be PEGI rated for everybody. Sony killing 2018, 2019. Good point. Much more recognizable character. I think PlayStation is on a hot streak in terms of their exclusives, getting the word out there. They're doing a great job of advertising it. They've been advertising Spider-Man for a long time. I mean, going back to 2016, they already had it on TVs during holiday promos. So I think this version of Spider-Man had much better media attention than ever before, coupled with how well the Marvel universe is doing, with the properties. There's a lot of momentum for this game that you could see this game also be a 10 million seller. The main thing is going to be the reviews, though. They have to deliver on the gameplay. Ballsy move saying 91, 93. I hope it could achieve that. I really do, because that means the gameplay is phenomenal. But if somehow this game gets average reviews, you know, in the 80s, whatever, perfectly fine. I'm still gonna play it. You know, reviews do. I mean, whether we agree with it or not, game reviews are no different than any other reviews. Whether it's cars, movies, electronics, or reviews or review, and people accept reviews. I know some people, some of us want to say gamers shouldn't listen to reviews. You know, they should just use their own judgment. But at the end of the day, a game is a consumer product, no different than anything else. No different than a phone, no different than a toaster, a TV, a microwave, a car. It's a consumer product, right? And consumer products thrive on reviews, you know. The Ruham, what's going on, brother? $5 super chat. What up? PR77 just showing that support. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, man. You've been very supportive of my channel. To my sponsors, thank you so much for also supporting the channel. I appreciate it. All right? So where was I? So they're going to do a traditional E3. Change it up a bit. They're going to focus on 4 games. So there's going to be a big presentation on 4 games. New third-party games, new announcements. We don't know. Third-party, they're going to talk about the indie, maybe PSVR. So why am I still doing this video then, if it's all cleared up? Because there was something I didn't like that I saw the beginnings on that thread. There were certain things I didn't like. All right, let me turn this off real quick. There's certain things I didn't like. And what I didn't like was, I don't want to use the damage control, but it was damage control. Some people were already dismissing that there was a problem, there was an issue. You know, damage control, I guess damage control is the only word I could think of. It's appropriate. Some people saying, that's all right. Sony doesn't need to be there anyway. Fucking, we already know games are great, yada, yada, yada. Let's not do that. That ain't the answer, Sway. We can't do that. We gotta hold Sony to the fire. All right. If Sony was going to do a non-traditional E3, you know, if they were gonna do something like Nintendo, and if the only thing they were gonna do was just cover Death Stranding, The Last of Us, Spider-Man, and Ghost of Tsushima, and that's all. And then the rest of the week, you know, you'll see announcements of third party from Twitter and little tiny videos from YouTube. No big announcements, stuff like that. That would be absolutely terrible. It would be abysmal. And we can't accept that. No matter how good Sony is doing, we can't let them slide. We can't let them slide because they've been doing good and be like, oh, okay, Sony, you know, you've been doing good. We'll let this slide. We can't. Because that's the slippery rope we will be starting on. That's where everything starts going to shit. All right. When I read that article, the first thing I thought, I'll be honest, when I read the article, I already had like 50 million thoughts in my head. Okay. Before the updates, before, you know, Push Square updated themselves. 50 million thoughts started in my head. And the first thing I thought was, man, it's already happening. I was like, man, we couldn't even wait till next gen. It's happening now. And what I mean was happening was the lack of competition that Microsoft's bringing is now making Sony complacent. Sony is already now complacent. That's the first thing I thought in my head. I'm thinking Sony right now is like, man, fuck these dudes. We ain't got to do shit. And then it just gets worse over time. And this is why competition is so important. All right. Competition is extremely important, right? And I'm gonna tell you this: and services do not provide competition. Services might make some consumers happy. It's a nice, decent talking point. You know, it's cool to mention a little bit of this, a little bit of that, or I could do this, I could refund that, I could game gift this, I could backwards party chat, whatever. All these features and services, they're all cool. You know, they accompany the system quite nicely. But the true competition, the true oomph, you know, the true push, the true strength of these consoles is the compelling games the first party publisher provides. That's what truly makes people scream and yell and stuff like that. You know, the onstage presence. You know, the pizzazz, the spunk. Yeah, I'll do that. The things that makes competition happen, you know? And when you don't have competition, it's just a natural thing. People will go complacent. People will get complacent. Companies will get complacent because they feel, because remember, every company has a couple of goals, right? And one goal is to try to use the least amount of money as possible to get the most maximum amount of result, you know? So if Sony could have cheaped out on E3 to prevent spending millions on a big stage presentation, and they could have just saved millions of dollars just by showing live streams and 4 or 5 games, simply because there's really no competition anyway, that's a bad thing. You know, that's when you start going down the wrong road. Sony has to keep their foot on the pedal. They're creating an amazing product. The product is very successful. Even this year, there's so much hype about owning a PS4. Shout out to Carlos Crespin, $5 super chat. You're right. We must not lower our standards like the Xbox fanboys. That's what I'm saying, man. Some of us, you know, are trying to send a message, but we can't lower the standards on PlayStation. PlayStation is a great product. It's 5 years where PlayStation is running into its 5th year, and there are people now still talking about getting a PlayStation because of God of War. Think about that. 5 years. And people are like, man, I got to get me a PlayStation. Hell, Black Bond got a PlayStation. Maybe somebody bought it for him, but I got one. My man Lionel, a.k.a. Yoshida, a.k.a. Big Boss. Thank you for the $10 super chat, brother. He said PlayStation brand hasn't even gotten to the vision I expect from them. Ah, you see? Ha! Told you that's Yoshida. I knew it. Sony should be so good that we don't even question them being the Google of the console market. Sony still has a way to go. I'm telling you, I knew it. That's Yoshida. He still has a vision, and Sony hasn't reached it yet. I told you that's Yoshida. Told you. The dude's hiding. I knew it. Now, shout out to Lionel. We have to make sure, and I know some of us will be like, hey, we're a small community, we're on Twitter, but like, you know, like my man Zaire says, you'll be surprised who's listening. Because remember, it's all about, social medias are a huge venture now. Companies are have already adopted strategies to pay attention to Twitter, to Facebook, to pay attention to social media in various sizes of communities, you know, in channels and what's going on out there. So they're listening. You know, some react more to others, some don't. But it's part of their strategy in terms of social media and, you know, advertisements and, you know, out there. So it's all there, right? And when Sony messes up, not all of us has to go out with tiki torches and say the world's ending, but at the same time, we can't dismiss huge missteps. And this would have been a huge misstep, all right? And we can't just sit back and accept it simply because they're doing great. They're doing great because they're making the best decisions. You know, that's why they're doing great. They're making the best decisions. They focus on what really matters. We have to make sure they stay on that path. You know, we have to make sure that that's okay. You could just do a live stream. You don't need an E3 event. No, you got to do an E3 event. You got to wow us. This is, in my opinion, the biggest gaming event. Now, I know Gamescom in Europe by population is the biggest gaming event because more people go to Gamescom as compared to the population E3. But when you look at the conversations, the reactions, the information, Sony doesn't even hold a conference at Gamescom. And Microsoft was also a live stream, sit down on sofas where they showed Xbox donut controllers, you know? So things like that, the information, the hype, what gamers talk about, to me, Gamescom's not as big as E3. E3 is like the Super Bowl. Everybody's talking about it. It's just nonstop conversations on products and games and stuff like that, you know? Yeah, just go to the same article. And then they just added Buddy Boy. He says they're linked to this article that was updated. Yeah, if you don't have it, it's on my Twitter account, and I'll post it in the description box. So that's my thing. As PlayStation fans, as gamers, just gamers, even if you Xbox dudes, if Sony was truly going for a non-traditional E3 and Xbox dudes were ripping Sony off, I would not see that. I mean, granted, there's fanboys that will go over it, but I will agree. I will fully agree. But like, yo, it's true. Sony's fucking up. You know, I would not damage control at all. You know, even if you have the Tim Dogs, the Crap Gamers, the whoever the fuck else is out there, you know, they would be right. There's no wiggle room. We cannot allow the wiggle room to even for a second say it's okay. As a unanimous force, we all have to agree this is wrong. Shout out to Lionel. Thank you for the super chat. E3 has way more impact. It does. It has a huge impact in terms of how news is presented. Shout out to Harry. My platform is PlayStation, but still I want more competition. Of course. Because competition, gotta admit, that ass kicking Sony got the first couple of years during the PlayStation 3 made them refocus, brought them back to fighting weight, which led to PS3 started getting great, amazing games towards the end of its life, which fed into PlayStation 4. This console is amazing because of the ass kicking Xbox 360 gave PlayStation 3 for like 3-4 years. I mean, I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Sony refocused themselves because they got their asses kicked. They went from selling 150 million consoles to only 80 million. And while it's the same as Xbox, like a 40%, 45% drop, you know? So that ass kicking, that wake-up call, going from, well, gamers will work 2 jobs to buy a PlayStation 3, to creating an affordable console day one, that's competition. That was getting your ass kicked, you know? So we need Xbox to be in fighting weight, or to get back to their fighting weight, so that way Sony doesn't get complacent with its PlayStation product. Carlos Crespin to our super chat, screw MS. Bring in Apple, Google, Amazon. I'm going to tell you, I don't think Apple, I'll start with Apple. Apple, I don't think they're interested in the traditional console gaming. They make tons of money just selling these cheap phone games. You know, I don't think they're going to make a console. I don't think they're going to into the Call of Duties and stuff like that. They're just going to stick with the phone stuff. They're going to stick with the ultra casual stuff. And I think Google and Amazon is going to do the same. Because I'll be honest, let me ask you this. Who really, let's say if Google and Amazon created a standalone console, a traditional console with the games that we play, why would you buy a Google console or Amazon console? To play Call of Duty, to play multiplats? Especially if your preferred platform is already Xbox, PlayStation, what will make you transition from those platforms over to Google? Is it power? Is it services? We already said services and power don't matter that much. It would be the games, right? It would be exclusives. That's the key. Google and Amazon exclusives. Here's my question. What developers do they have? You know what I mean? And of course, people say, oh, well, they have money. So does Microsoft. Microsoft has almost $1 trillion company. And you see the issues they're having with developing competitive games. So money, just having money isn't the answer. It's having talented studios that has a vision with the platform to create amazing games. Google doesn't have that. Amazon doesn't have that. I mean, at best, they have dudes that make phone games. So that's why, like, people think, oh, Google, Amazon, they just have money. And as we can see, Microsoft has money. Money's not just the end-all be-all. You need powerful, talented development studios that has a vision, that has passion, backed by a company that allows them to do that vision. Sean Layden, he once said, that being the head of the publishing studio, his job is to keep, in fact, it was in the book, you know, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, I think it was, where he told Jason Schreier that when Uncharted needed to be delayed, His job was, okay, fine, delay it. His job was to remove the obstacles. Right? Publisher's job, at least in Sony's eyes, their job as a publishing studio is to remove the obstacles and things that hinder their developers from making great games. That is Sean Layden's vision. All those publishers, Yoshida, all them, all the bigwigs, their job is to try to make development as easy as possible for those developers. Their job is to get rid of the red tape, get rid of the obstacles, whatever they got to do to make great games. You know? That's their job. I know Vulcan, $2 super chat. Yo, whatever happened to the Windows Phone? That shit is more DVDs. Even Crap Gamer got rid of his Windows Phone. I told you that shit was going to bomb. I've been told people that. That shit was trash. No one wants a Windows Phone. Nobody wants something you get on a laptop on a tiny phone. It was corny. You know, it was done. It was corny. So, long story short. If Sony was going to do this, we cannot accept this. Don't accept Sony being complacent, because that spells trouble for us. We want Sony to keep their foot on the pedal. We want them to continue to keep their foot on the pedal. And we want them to continue to have that drive with the PlayStation 5. They need that drive. You know what I'm saying? Because if they lose that drive, it's bad news for us. Ultimately, us PlayStation fans, we're the ones that are going to get screwed over. You know what I'm saying? What else are we going to go through? So that's my thought. So what can we, you know what? Let me talk about it now. Because I was going to talk about it. Let me talk about it now. Let me ask you guys something this. Let me ask you something this. So for my, we in May right now? Shit, since like last October? Last October, September? I have many, subscribers, you guys, my friends, my family, that have sent me messages, DMs on Twitter, stuff like that, asking me about my Patreon, when I'm going to start a Patreon. Now, this is my thoughts on a Patreon, because of my job, especially being stationed in this unit, at any given point, I could go 3-4 days, maybe even a week, maybe even 2 weeks where you don't hear about me. Now, of course, I try to use my phone, so that's where you see me doing my shit. You know what I'm saying? Doing my shit. So you can see my big ass hairline, but I'll be like that. Bow, what up? I'll be going crazy if I could. And I do my videos. I do a little bit, 10-minute recording videos. To Kieran Thompson, $2 super chat. Thank you so much for the support. What if they're just spacing out announcements for later? I don't know. I just think E3's too big to be messing around with that. You know what I mean? It's a big stage. You gotta go big. It's the Super Bowl. You don't go. It's like the World Cup. For everybody in Europe, and it's like the American Super Bowl. The Super American, as if there's another version. It's like the Super Bowl. It's like you go big, go hard or go home. There's no in between. You gotta go all out. You gotta ball out. You gotta make it rain. Don't be bullshitting. This is a Super Bowl. You go up in there and you play. You play until you catch a heart attack. All right. So thank you so much for that question. Appreciate it. All right. Again, hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. What we got here? How many people we got? How many people we got rocking out here? Okay, so we got 255 watching. All right. Cool. So let's have a little discussion. So y'all can help me out with this. Formulate. Lionel Bugger. Puerto Rock makes so much money in the super chat, he don't need a Patreon. My man, because I got Yoshida. Yoshida got my back. You know what I'm saying? So I wanna talk to you guys. You guys help me out. You guys help me out formulate this Patreon. I want it to be a very interactive, if I do it or not. All right. So let me tell you my thoughts first so you can see where I'm coming from. So because of my job, and I'll be honest, my job comes first only because it's my duty, it's my responsibility, obviously, So if I gotta go somewhere, I could go a week, I could go 2 weeks, and you probably won't even hear nothing about me. You understand what I'm saying? That's just the reality of the situation I'm in. All right. For those that don't know, I work, I'm a Marine. All right. I'm active duty. So I just work. I'm not gonna go into details about that. Just know that that job is my priority, right? It's my priority, and you know, when duty calls, right? So when I look at other patrons, you know, they have certain benefits with the tiers and stuff like that, and those benefits are consistent. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's, you know, a podcast after dark or a podcast post show, which I don't like. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a show hidden behind a paywall. That's like party chat or some shit. I don't like that. If I do a podcast, it's going to be live. It's going to be free. It's going to be open to everybody. So I don't like these. And I'm not knocking those people that do it, because I understand they created a Patreon and they want Patreon. Like, it's like the premium service. You know, they still do their podcast, but then they do extra stuff for the premium user. And that's cool for them. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not giving that. I'm just saying, for me, if I'm going to say something, I want everybody to hear it. You know what I'm saying? You know, to me, it's like public school education. I'm not, you know, when Professor Porter comes out, he's talking in a public school education environment. I'm not talking private school where only privileged people can go listen to what I'm saying. Nah, when I preach, the world's going to listen. You know, I want everybody to listen. So I don't like that. Then they have things like giveaways and stuff like that. I'm like, that's okay, man. That may sound cool, but I don't have access. Some of these people have access to people that donate, you know, codes and stuff like that. So that's why they do the giveaways. I'm not up there. What's up for you, Master? What's going on? You know? And then the giveaways is consistent, you know, like a monthly drawing. But what if I'm not able to hold that drawing that week because I'm not even home, because I'm gone for like a week doing my job? So then how do I execute the drawing when I'm not even home? I'm busy doing something else. So that's something that's concerning. I've seen things like, oh, you know, for $50, you know, we could schedule playing a game again. What if, you know, I could tell you guys right now, hey, congratulations, Lionel Bogan. You won the drawing. Me and you, we could rock out on a game of your choice. We'll set this up this Sunday, right? And it's literally Friday, right? It's Friday right now. We're going to hook it up and rock out this Sunday. I could literally get a phone call tomorrow and be like, hey, you got to knock out, get your ass on the plane. You're going to be gone for 2 weeks. What do? I can't say, oh, no, I got a weekend drawing, you know, to fulfill as part of my Patreon. So I can't, no, that doesn't work. My ass is on that plane. So you see the conundrum I have? You see the conundrum I'm in? I'm afraid with this Patreon, I can't fulfill obligations that other channels have, you know? On the flip side, though, I explained this to some people privately in conversation, but they're telling me that the reason why they want me to do a Patreon, some of them said they don't even really care about the fringe benefit. They want to support the platform, all right? But the problem is, number one, a lot of them aren't on the live streams, which makes sense, because if you look at my videos, you know, eventually it gets like 4,000 views, 5,000 views, you know, it gets 3,000 views. It gets a decent amount of views, gets some good views, right? But you don't see like 2,000 people live viewing. You know, it's around 200 to 300. So the majority of people that interact with me watch my stuff after the fact and not during while it's live. Because of that, they don't have access to the party chat. I mean, you know, to the super chat. So they can't donate through there. They see the PayPal. For whatever reason, they don't like that system. They don't like PayPal at all. They don't want to give their credit card information to PayPal. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with PayPal, because I do have a PayPal link. So I tell them, you know, I got a PayPal link if you choose it. They're like, no, they don't really like PayPal. That's whatever reason. Maybe they had a bad experience. Maybe their information got compromised. Some of those guys says they don't even have a PayPal account. They got rid of it. You know, what they do like is a Patreon, and that's it. They don't have to worry about it. You know. So what do you guys think about that? So at this point, what do you guys? And some people say PayPal, you know, it's some weird shit. PayPal don't work on iPhone, some weird shit. I don't know what's going on. What do you guys think about what Patreon is? And how do you feel about that? Are you guys in that same position in terms of you prefer Patreon because of security or is it ease of use? Let me know. What don't you like for PayPal? if there was a Patreon in this channel, what do you expect from it? You know what I'm saying? What were some of the things you like? What were some of the things you did like in terms of seeing from other channels and stuff like that? You know, start the Patreon, and the subs have to be adult about when you have to do. So Oreo Cookie Gaming, pretty cool name, especially with the KOKI. He says, start the Patreon, and the subs have to be adult about when you have to go do your job. Bruh, have you seen how people act on YouTube and Twitter? The moment they pay money, they don't give a fuck if I have to go out and save the world from alien race. They don't give a fuck. They pay their money, I better fucking hold whatever Patreon, whatever. They don't give a fuck if I have to. They don't give a fuck if I'm saving the world. They won't care, you know? Okay? Fuck Patreon. Everybody has one after they said they never have one. Frauds. Do your Patreon. I will support you without any giveaways or crap like that. All right? Nintendo is the worst game company. Top dog. What the fuck? All right? So let me ask you this. Let's start with the negative. What things you don't like about Patreon? Because I see a lot of people. I've seen people also have a negative view. Trunks. I think Weapon Wheel Parker started that trend. I think I've seen people have negative views on Patreon. Not for facts. You got a partner to do the giveaway in your place. You got a partner to do in your giveaway. That's a good question. Good partner on my channel. But then that might go into sharing my channel or stuff like that. You know, some weird stuff. You know, stuff like that. Like the people that's on my podcast, we all have an agreement that I'll support their projects that they want. Like unlike Weapon Wheel, where the members shared that one channel and they split the profits, you know, my channel is all mine, right? But the people who decide to rock out with me, it's kind of like a NATO. We like NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. You know, we like a NATO organization. You know, what they do, we support them. What I do, they support me. Kind of like that, you know. So guys like All Day, Jay Fonzarelli, Kratos, Jay Barry, we all support each other whenever the call comes, you know. So Jay Barry hits me up and be like, hey, yo, Porter Rock, can you hit me up on Saturday, you know, join my podcast? All right, look at my schedule. Yep, I'll join your podcast. No money, no nothing. I mean, fucking Jay Barry could get $30,000 in super chat money. That's all his. You know what I'm saying? If Sick Humor calls or Ryan, you know, if Kratos decides, you know, J Dub City decides to do a podcast, Craig Harris, though, I ain't gonna lie, he's a hard motherfucking dude to hop on the podcast because his shit's not consistent. That dude be like contacting me like at 3:15 in the morning and shit. Like, hey, you can do a podcast? I'm like, God damn, dog. Like, are you like, whoa? Like, it's like, man, like, my mans, what are we doing here? You know? Fallout 347. Kratos' son is Loki in God of War. You a bastard. That better not be true because I'm gonna fuck you up. You know what? Yo, thanks for the super chat. Man, did you spoil some shit, you bastard? I'm gonna pretend I didn't read that. I didn't read that. Hey, nobody answered that question. Nobody said that's fucked up. I'm gonna pretend he's lying. All right? Do me that favor. Don't even acknowledge that. Please don't. But I thank you for the super chat. But that's some fucked up shit, Fallout. You are evil motherfucker. That's evil. Look at they said. It's not real. Okay. That's some evil shit. That's evil. You could at least give me €5 for some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if you're going to spoil some shit, that's a $20 super chat right there. Spoilers are worth $20 or €20. All right, if you're spoiling some shit. If you spoil some shit, you gotta have the gold symbol. It's gotta be gold. It can't be blue. It's gotta be gold. Gold, you know what I'm saying? Gotta be some gold stuff. All right. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna play today. But so I don't know. I'm still thinking about super chat. I don't know. I'll say this though. Super chat, no super chat. Fucking, what's it called? Fucking, damn, whatever, the other services. My man, what does that donate 20 knock? What's that, Crone? My man Bogan, my man Lionel, even though I like Super Chat because it adds to the show, but PayPal and Patreon gives you all your money and that promotes entrepreneurship. Some people tell me that too, that like Patreon is a way to start making your brand. You know, it takes you. That's somebody else explained that to me. That you got to look at Patreon as a way to actually build a brand. You know, TV per sock account. So I was thinking about that too, because I would like the thing to grow, but I want to find a perfect balance of how my channel grows. Because I'll be honest, the key to the success of my channel was you guys. You know, whether you guys supported it financially or not, just your participation, you guys coming here, having a conversation, being honest, all that stuff. That's what's important. That's what I like about this channel most. That's why I call you guys my friends, my family. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are key. You guys are the key ingredient to this channel. You know, this channel is big because you guys are out there. You're participating with me. We have conversation. You guys feed me knowledge and vice versa. We have a symbiotic relationship. You know, I'm the Eddie Brock. You guys are the Venom symbiote. And together, you know, you're the symbiote. Together, we form Venom and we fucking shit up together. You know what I'm saying? When you gaming on Twitch, I'm a horrible game streamer. And that's another thing people ask me. Yo, Porter, when you going to go out there, cut it up and play games? I am a terrible game streamer because when I have not mastered the art. Let me do some super chat right here. Shout out to Fallout. Crazy Wife is a half giant and Thor is in the end. Man, this guy's killing me. Bro, $10, 10 euros. Come on, bro. Killing me here. No, just play, man. Thank you for the super chat. Harry, let the sex reign. Who need an overrated Patreon? But I'm going to tell you, when it comes to game streaming, I'm fucking terrible. I'm going to tell you why I'm terrible. It's like chewing gum and walking. So on one end, when I play a game, I get into it, and then I stop talking. Like, I don't even, like, acknowledge the chat. Because I'd be like, oh, that's it. And then I'd be like, oh, shit. You know, and motherfuckers are like, yo, Puerto Rock, hello. And I'd be like, oh, shit. And then when I pay attention to the chat, I just fucking suck at the game. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's my age. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? How you preaching game but low-key button mash. You see what I'm saying? It's insane, you know? So I'm a terrible streamer. I don't know. Maybe. So if I did stream, what would you like to see from me as a streamer? All right? Would you just like to see me bug the fuck out, play a multiplayer and curse motherfuckers out? Kind of like, or do something more like Kid Smooth and play games that frustrate the shit out of me and piss me the fuck off? Because I'm going to tell you, bro, shit be fucking... Oh, no, make no mistake, though. I got skills. You know, I ain't no fucking pro player. But make no mistake, if I play a game and I want to be competitive, I'll be fucking competitive. If I fucking want to be into it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no doubt. I will fucking be into it. I ain't going to go out like no punk bitch. Nah, that ain't happening. Munya Khan, Kratos dies of illness and Atreus takes over. $2 super chat. Man, you guys refuse to use, it's a rule. It's a $20 spoiler. 20 euro spoiler. All right? All right. Yo, P-Rock, what's your PSN? The same name. Porter Rock 77. You know? It's same thing on Xbox too. You gotta do PvP with the subs. We gotta set that up, you know what I'm saying? But that's not something I'm gonna do with that's not something I'm gonna do with that's not something I'm gonna do with the Patreon again, because those are the things that I don't want to promise on a Patreon, but I think that would be cool. You know what I think would be cool? I was thinking about this. Because I seen some I know some channels they do podcasts on Party Chat versus on PlayStation. I was thinking of doing something like that, where maybe once a month I do my podcast on PlayStation, and then you guys just hop in. You know, I don't know if it's a first come first serve, or maybe I randomize it and I send you guys a DM or something like that. You know, set it up to where you guys hop on a Party Chat. We all pick a game. And then we just talk about games while we're all playing a game or some shit. I mean, I don't know what 8-player game is out there. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe fighter, something. But we all talk and we do live Q&A and stuff like that. Because I know a lot of you have the discussions in the chat. But I say we do a live Q&A. You guys answer the question live. We just talk and bullshit and do stuff like that. You know, stuff like that. My man J Roy's game reviews. So I'm going to tell you, that's the one thing you won't hear from me. Game reviews. I'm going to tell you why. And I mentioned this a couple of years ago. Game reviews is a hard fucking thing, right? And gamers have a long memory. I'm going to tell you why it's so hard. Because you could ding a game for certain things, but when you play another game, it could have those very same issues, but you don't notice it. And you won't ding it, right? But guess who will remember all those information? It's going to be you guys. You're going to be like, hey, Porterac, when you played this game, you said this game had this, this, and this. And so you gave it a 7. But then when you played this game, you gave it a 9, even though it has this. You're a fucking fraud, Porterac. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to put myself in that position. That's just how game reviews is. Because, like, you could play a game, right? Like, for example, I don't know, shooter, right? And it could be a 6-hour shooter, 7-hour shooter. And I could ding it because it has the same repetitive enemies, right? Like it's boring over and over and over. But then I could play an RPG, which has pretty much repetitive enemies, but I don't notice it because the world is bigger, it's more advanced. There's so much other shit to do that facing the same guys doesn't really bother me because I'm not really noticing that. You guys will notice that. And y'all would kill me with that. Y'all would just slaughter me with that. That's why reviews are so hard. Because you have to be consistent, but it's impossible because what makes one game bad could be an irrelevant trait in another game. Does that make sense? You know, that's just how it is. Something that you don't like in one game could be dismissive of another. Like you could play an action game that has weak-ass puzzles, right? And you fucking hate it because it takes you out of the game and you think it's stupid. But then you play an RPG that also has weak-ass puzzles, but you don't notice it because of the amount of content in that game. The puzzles is just slim to small. It's like it's barely there. It's negligible. You know? That's just how it is. Reviews is cherry-picking flaws but overlooking them on similar games with higher caliber. That's the problem, you know? And I think that's why I don't do reviews. Like if I talk about a game, I'm just going to say if I enjoy it or not, but I don't go in-depth review. Because once you go down that route, you guys have long memories. You guys, don't lie to me. You guys know. You guys have long memories, and you will jot down, you'll type, and then it could be on the PlayStation 7. And you guys, Porterac, on the PlayStation 4, on this day, you played this game, you're a fraud. I'll be like, oh, shit. This motherfucker went back 19 years ago. That's just the reality. So I don't do official reviews. I'll talk about a game if I like it, like in a party chat or whatever, and stuff like that. But that's about it. That's how I'll do it, you know. But you know, and I definitely not gonna do no rules reviews. It's just I'm not doing that. I'm not going down that road. There's not enough Patreon money in the world for me to fuck with that road. I'm gonna stay away from that review. I'm gonna stay away from that. But anyway. How about recommendations? I could do that. I could see that. You know, I could definitely do that. Definitely give out recommendations. And I do that anyway when I ask. But definitely, you know, again, I got to go back to doing that once a month Q&A. Yeah, I'll come back to haunt you. It will. I know the game. It's impossible. For those guys who do reviews, it's a hard fucking sell. And that's just reality. People will remember and nitpick the crazy shit. Harry, what's your take on multiplayer being a service mode and single player being an actual game that all game developers should invest their budgets on, then giving mass single and multiplayer? What's your take on multiplayer being a service mode and single player being an actual game that all game developers should invest their budgets on, then giving mass single and multiplayer? Let me see, Harry. Let me make sure I try to understand you. So what's my take on multiplayer being a service mode and single player being an actual game that all game developers should invest their budget on, then giving mass single and multiplayer? I'm going to say this. All right, I'm starting to get your question. I'm going to say this. The reality it is third party are going to put the bulk of their money behind multiplayer. The third party industry is going to be more service-based, gas, you know, multiplayer type games. All right. Even if the project fails or not, they're just going to keep at it. Companies like Sony and Nintendo, they're going to go for the single player. And the reason why is this. Because now, I don't want to say there's a shortage, But because so many third parties are going with multiplayer, it's an opportune time for Nintendo and Sony to take advantage to provide something that the industry, again, I don't use the word lacking, but there's not enough of, if that makes sense. So they're taking advantage. And they're using that advantage to sell their console. You know, the third party, they don't have a console to sell. Third parties don't have consoles to sell. They just sell games. And if they can make a game, put budget behind the game that can sustain them with consistent cash flow for a long period of time, that's what they're going to go with. And that model is multiplayer. All right. I think I need both. Like recently, there was a GameSpot tweet that says Battlefield, whatever's coming out, and yes, it will have single player. Like, no shit. Like, since when it doesn't? So I was kind of confused with the tweet or something. And that's paraphrasing because, like, was it ever not going to have single player? I'll say this. If you do a single player, Harry, they need to do it right. It shouldn't be tacked on. The single player needs to have good depth. It needs to be a good quality product. It can't just be something you just do for 4 hours and then hop onto the multiplayer. It needs some depth. It needs to be good. You know what I'm saying? Create a good single player content because there's people who will not play the multiplayer, but they will enjoy the single player. You know? That's just the reality. Is State of Decay AAA or what's quadruple A? Oh my God. I heard about that tweet that Microsoft's starting to make quadruple A titles. So what? Their games are like $2 billion now? I don't know. Well, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not even going to get into that. All right? You're correct. Rather put all budget to get awesome single player than only good single and multiplayer. Yeah. You know, the single player needs to be awesome and then have an awesome multiplayer. That's how we should go by. All right. So anyway, thanks for rocking out with me. I think I'm let me see. Is there any other questions you guys want to rock out with? But ultimately, let me do this. Hit 1 if you think I should do a Patreon. Hit 2 if it's like, nah, stick with just what we got now. Ready? Go. Let's see them shits on the screen. My man Lionel, service-based games bring in the money, but devs should use that money to make more unique games. We need more balance. Unique multiplayer, I agree. It needs to be more unique. They need to figure out something. 2, my man said 3. That means do both. 1. I agree, though. If you bring in the money, do something. Oh, 3s, I don't know. Okay. 1, 2, 2s. There's some 2s. The 2s are winning, meaning nope. They don't want no Patreon. No Patreon. Don't be voting twice, though, because you're fucking up my count. So far, please respond to my last question. Can you retype it? Type it again, Mr. Musical. 10. Quadruple don't exist. My man Lionel says, fam, start the Patreon. Ooh, my man put money down on that. He's like, yo, fam, start the Patreon. Chloe Price, 2. Solid Snakes is 1. 2. Trunks fucked your bitch. 2947 Zaire style. The Godfather. You know, he used to be called the Bobfather. Now he's the, what do we call him? You can't call him Pony Father. Doesn't sound right. Warhorse, maybe? A first, A second, A third equals the standard. What are your thoughts on the GameStop Canada E3 league? Yeah, with that raid shit. Was it Walmart or Canada? I don't know, some weird shit. 1, my coworker said 2. Fallout says 1. Trunks, what? Alpha, beta. Some weird shit right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that. You know, I'll be honest. If you ever notice, I never make videos about retail leaks. Because I really don't give a shit about a retail leak in Zimbabwe or something. I just, you know, it's just whatever. I just, you know, I mean, I don't mind leaks, but I never do the whole Walmart in Australia rated this game a E. I leave that alone because I've seen so many of that. It's whatever. Cowboys versus G-Man. What up, P-Rock? Giants all day. Caliber, no Patreon. All right, and stuff like that. I'll say this. I just got to sit back and think about this. But I will say this. I'm not doing content behind the paywall. If I make a video, it's everybody's gonna see it. You know, that's just the reality. I want my videos, I want my live streams to be enjoyed by all. Doesn't matter who it is. You know what I'm saying? This is a public school education. I believe everybody, that's just the one thing. I could promise you that. And hold me to it. Get Morgana days and tell them to record this and have it on standby. So that way you could people be like, if Portorock charges for Patreon, we're gonna get him and expose his ass. As far as this channel or stuff like that, I'm not gonna do a pay behind Paul. I'm not gonna do a thing behind the dark or whatever on this channel, whatever. I'm not gonna do that. Anything I say, my channel grew because it's open. Doesn't make sense. My channel grew because it's transparent. And now that you guys grew with me and enjoy the content with me, now all of a sudden I'm going to hide the content and put you guys in a position where you have to pay for something you guys have been enjoying all along. Paul, you got to wet your beak in these YouTube streets. No, I'll say this. Because Harry brought a good point. A standard equals come from A first alpha, A second beta, A third final. Remove numbers and you get a standard, which is AAA. AAA, the definition of AAA changed this gen. It really has. Because the gen before this, during the 360, during the PlayStation 2, during the PlayStation 1, the A titles were in relation to the user scores. So, for example, games in the 70s that rated in the 70s were single A titles. Games that rated in the 80s were double A. Games that rated in the 90s was triple A. And depending on the site you use, if you use a specific site, a game that was rated 10 was quadruple A. That was the system that was used last gen and the gens before. It wasn't about budget. It was about the ratings. So when we say, hey, this is a AAA game, it was a game that rated a 90. For example, God of War is a AAA game. Back in the days, it would be considered a AAA game. Gears of War and Halo would not be considered AAA. They will be considered AA because they didn't, as you saw from Metacritic, they don't have a 90 rated average. Forza Horizon 3, AAA. Halo 5, Gears 4, AA. They are not AAA titles. That was the system used before. Then shit changed, and the game could be a fucking 50 or 60, like fucking Rise. It's a fucking 60, but it's still considered a AAA game because of the budget that was spent. So the definition of AAA changed to the advantage that it doesn't matter how bad the game was scored, companies still called it AAA because of the dinero that changed. That shit was not like that back then. We didn't give a fuck how much money you spent. Look at, what was it, 2 Human? They spent like 100 million or God knows what fucking shit they spent. That shit single A like a motherfucker. We don't give a fuck how much you spent. If your shit's rated fucking a 70, we don't give a fuck if you spent $200 million. That shit is single A. But the definition changed this way. The companies changed it. In my opinion, the companies changed it. They pushed that narrative that the AAA ratings were reflective of the cost of the game, and eventually it just caught on, and now that's the standard now. Everybody, that's just about. See, my man said right here, AAA, stop it. Last gen, no. Halo 5 would not be a AAA game last gen. It was not. Uncharted 1, that wasn't considered a AAA game because it didn't average. No, it did average. It did average a 90. What you gonna call it? What game? I'll tell you right now. Let me look right now. I think it was Resistance. I'll tell you right now. Give me a second. Let me look at something. Back in the days, I used to use game rankings. That was like the big one back then, before Metacritic. Game rankings was like the big one. And then you had individual clicks like GameSpot, had the forum. So a lot of people in GameSpot, System Wars and shit like that, did our thing. But Resistance, averaged Resistance average at 86.7. Was not a AAA game. It has the budget of a AAA game, just no different than Halo and everybody. But when gamers were talking about the launch of the PS3, they were like, PlayStation got no AAA exclusives. Because Resistance was not AAA. Motorstorm was not a AAA game, didn't get a 90 average. Heavenly Sword didn't get a AAA average. In fact, the first PlayStation exclusive that reached 90 or higher was Metal Gear 5. I mean, not Metal Gear 5, Metal Gear Solid 4. Metal Gear Solid 4 was the first, if I remember correctly, it was the first PlayStation 3 game exclusive that reached AAA. That was the first PlayStation exclusive, which was Metal Gear Solid 4. And that happened in June 2008. That's when people were like, oh, finally, PlayStation 3 has its first AAA exclusive. Because, again, it wasn't the budget. It was the ratings. Back then, it wasn't budget that determined AAA. You know, of course, this is the gamers talking. But gamers are like, if your shit ain't averaging 90 or higher, your game's not AAA. The industry started pushing AAA based on cost and development. This is a AAA game because this is how much we spent. This is a AAA game. And they kept pushing it. They kept pushing it. They kept pushing it. And they pushed it so hard that it worked. Gamers considered, like Killzone, Shadowfall. That game got a 70. That shit would be, boy, that shit would get slaughtered last gen. You know? Hell, the first Killzone. What did the first Killzone average? The first Killzone got an average. I'm using game rankings because this is what we used back then. Before Metacritic, it got, goddamn, a 74. You know, and everybody's like, ooh, the Halo killer. And Halo was getting an average of 97. What was Halo's average? So 74 versus Halo got in game rankings an average of, and again, Halo, the first Halo come out of Evolve on 95 on Xbox versus a 74. Yo, fucking Killzone got crushed. Because Halo was a AAA rated game on 95. That's how the conversations were back then. But again, developers, publishers advertise narratives of AAA budget, AAA, this game is AAA, this game is AAA. And they pushed it so hard and so hard that now it's pretty much how we look at games. I see why they did it, because even if a game flops, they can still call it a AAA. Perfect example, Destiny. Let me look at Destiny. And I'll use Metacritic now. Give me a second. Metacritic. Right? My man, the Ruham. Hey, PR77. Why not have a 20, 30-minute podcast for the Patreon? That's what I'm talking about. That means I would have a podcast specifically for locked members. And I don't want to do a locked paywall. I don't want to have something. Because, again, what made me successful is the podcasts and the broadcasts and the live videos and the recorded videos. Now I'm going to go from doing the thing that made this channel successful, made you guys grow, attract more gamers, and now I'm going to do content that's only exclusive to people who pay. I don't think that's right. You know, I want to keep, because think about this. If I did an exclusive podcast or exclusive videos, you know, let's say exclusive podcast for the Patreon members, my thoughts, my conversations, the things I talk about is not accessible to anybody else. And that's the one thing that made me successful. I want all you guys, think of the first time you heard me, right? The first time you heard one of my videos or whatever, you'd be like, man, this is pretty cool, Puerto Rock. Yo, I'm going to subscribe to this dude. Imagine if you never got access to that video because I had it locked behind a paywall. I want you to look at it that way. Think of the first time you saw me, the first time you rocked out with me, the first time you'd be like, yo, I like what you're doing, subscribe. Imagine if that day never happened because you didn't have access to that content. You probably wouldn't be subscribed to my channel. And that's what I don't want to prevent. So any video that's not publicly free and accessible is potential for me not be able to gain new people, new subscribers, you know, new people onto the family. You know what I'm saying? I want new members to join, to rock out with us. I want the chat to get bigger. I want to go from 200, 300 live views to 500 to 1,000 to 2,000 live views. I just want growth and get everybody down. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think locking content. Oh, I see. Okay, my man Ruham, he says, what I mean is those guys will be the guests in the show. I thought about that too. Ridiculous. What if I have 200 Patreon members that subscribe and they want to be guests? How many live shows am I going to have to even 80? Let's say 80. I have 80 Patreon members. YouTube handles up to 10 services, you know. So if I had 10, and all 80, let's say, want to do the podcast thing, how many podcasts am I going to have to fulfill that monthly requirement? You see what I'm saying? It could get out of hand. So I thought about that too. And then I'm thinking, but wait a minute. It sounds cool when I only have 4 or 5 Patreons. But what happens if I go to 40, 50, or 60? And they all expect to be on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? And that means I have to cut out. I mean, how do I? It could get ridiculous. So, it's not easy for this Patreon shit. And the main thing is, the reason why it's a really hard decision for me is because, again, you're my friends, my family. I don't want to create something that screws you guys over. You see what I'm saying? What game was I looking for when I said I was going to go to Metacritic? Oh, Destiny. Y'all made me lose track. Destiny 1 scored a 76 on PlayStation. And it was, it's Destiny. Yeah. Destiny it scored only that. And Xbox One. How much did it do on Xbox One? So Destiny is 76. And it doesn't even show the Xbox One score. Whatever. But 76. Last gen, Destiny would not be called the AAA game. Flop. They will call it a flop. We would have called it a flop. Destiny flopped. But Destiny is still considered a AAA game because of the budget. Not because of the quality and the review score, because of the budget. It's AAA because of the budget. So what the publishers did this industry, and don't think they don't know, because they knew what was going on. They knew the conversation gamers were having last gen, and they knew the impact of gamers saying this game is not AAA or this game flopped. They knew, so they changed the narrative to where it's impossible. Like you just saw, like somebody in here, they'd be like, cut it out, Porter Rock. Halo 5 is a AAA game. That's exactly what the industry wanted. There's no way you can say Halo 5 is not a AAA game because they created the definition of AAA game is budget, not reviews. They took it away from the review system. 70s is single A, 80s is double A, 90s is AAA. They erased that. Now it's budget. So the game could be a fucking 30. But if they spent Halo Uncharted budget, it's AAA. Even if the game is dog shit. So that way they could keep saying, we just created a new AAA game. And the game could be absolute dog shit. It is what it is. My man says Fallout's not a AAA game. Let's see. I'm not going to go into that. All right? That's just what it is. So let me see. Somebody mentioned something about the Patreon. P-Rock versus B-Shot was my first time. Imagine if that was locked behind a paywall. Put it on Patreon and upload it to your channel a few days later. Patreons can have guests on your live panels. I don't know. I'll think about this. I'll see what I'll do, man. I'll see what I'll do. But I do want my channel to grow. I would like to make it into a brand. But I want you all with me on this one. I don't want to exclude nobody. And we'll just see how it is. We'll just see how we do it. All right? All right? Gaming Addict. Hey, Gaming Addict. We just talked about it. It's the gaming, the Sony E3 news. They're having a normal... it's a normal E3. The article was updated. Oh yeah, they were more credible because that's just how it was back then. You couldn't just hide and say all games AAA just because you spend money. But the Gaming Addict, they're having a normal E3 conference. Put Square updated their article, and then if you read the podcast, the Sony blogcast, they didn't say anything about changing it up, but they are part of the show. So what do you mean? So it's going to be a normal conference. The only difference that changed in the conference is within that show, they're going to have a special in-depth look at 4 specific titles. But they're going to still show third-party games. Sean Layden said they're going to show new stuff and they're going to show indies. So it's still a normal conference, E3 conference, live on stage. Get to see it live, at whatever streaming site you. It's E3 conference. It's not going to be like a Nintendo Treehouse. So that was already squashed. So we ain't got to worry about that. But specifically, part of that conference, they're going to have good in-depth look at Death Stranding, Spider-Man, The Last of Us 2, and Ghost of Tsushima. I'm especially excited for Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding because we don't know much about it. We don't know much about Ghost of Tsushima at all, and Death Stranding, whatever. So again, it's a standard conference because they asked on the show, is there anything else? He said yes. They have third-party games that they're going to show. There's new things they're going to talk about, and they're going to also talk about indie stuff. And I would imagine indie VR stuff. All right? Let's see, Halo Storm. They're saying Halo Storm. You're not listening. All right, let's see. Are people not understanding? So it's Cuphead AAA. All right, so let me. All right, so let me explain this again. Halo Storm, and I'm going to say it. Before 2013, when this gen started, 2012 and before that, when gamers used the term AAA, it was based on reviews. All right? It was mostly based on the reviews. Each letter represented the level of score you got. Now, gamers, depending where they at, they chose the site whatever. For example, if you were out of those four, which one you be playing this year though? Spider-Man. Which comes out in September. Days Gone, Death Stranding, The Last of Us will probably be 2019 titles. So out of those four will be Spider-Man, dog. Yeah. But so each letter represented the score associated. If the game scored in the 70s were associated with the A title, 80s were AA, and 90s is whatchamacallit, is AAA. So that's how the rating was. So like if you were participating in GameSpot forums, they had a System Wars, console war, whatever, or Game Informer had console wars, IGN had console wars, System Wars. Every site had their own console war centric area, right? So if you were part of, let's say you were part of GameStop, right? GameSpot, right? That's the place you go to. That was your go-to place to talk shit, forums, whatever. Everybody based their definition if a game was single A, double A, or triple A based on GameSpot's review. So one of the biggest, I will tell you this. Oh my God, I'm gonna tell you this, and I want to see if Baron remember this. I'm gonna tell you if Baron remember this. Right, this was funny because I was in the GameSpot forums, right, and it was fucking hilarious. They used to call each gamer that represented a console an animal. So like, if maybe some of you remember, like if you were a PlayStation gamer, you were called a cow. If you were an Xbox gamer, you were a lemming. If you're a PC gamer, they called you hermit. And if you were a Nintendo gamer, they called you a sheep. So they used to say shit like the cows have been raped, the sheep have been raped, all this shit, right? Yo, I remember when so much shit talking used to go in those fucking forums in GameSpot, right? And whenever this guy is going to AAA, yada, 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 and everybody used to talk shit. Yo, I remember the sheep, all them fucking Nintendo dudes, when Twilight Princess was announced, they were like, it's going to be game of the gen, whatever, see what's going to happen. See, so the Emperor remembers that. I remember it determined single AAA. It just changed. But anyway, I remember Twilight Princess, right? Oh my God. Let me go. Let me tell you a little story, right? So I remember, this was like 2006, right? And the reviews was leading up to Um, there was two channels. There was GameSpot and there was System Wars. You know, I used to hang out there too, right? It was two separate sites, but both sites went with obviously the GameSpot review. So all the sheep, you know, Nintendo dudes were talking shit. Twilight Princess game of the generation is going to get a 95, 98. It's going to be all this stuff. Yo, it was all this, yo, just shit talking and stuff like that. But normally Zelda has high scores. It's usually rated like a 98 games, right? It's always a 90 plus game. Yo, when the review dropped on GameSpot, 8.8, for what was that? It scored an 8.8 on fucking Twilight Princess. It was a wrap. Oh my God. Yo, the bet, he was the bet too. The bet was this, that I remember on System Wars, the bet was, they made even bet that if Twilight Princess scored a 90 above certain it was like a bet, right? Because in System Wars, they had a sub-forum called Banned Wasteland. Like if you got banned, you were only allowed to chat in the Banned Wasteland. You were not allowed to talk in the main thing, right? So people were like, you know, place your bets on whether or not, you know, Zelda would be AAA or if it will flop, meaning not be AAA. All the Nintendo dudes like, man, we bet, yeah, whatever, it's going to be AAA. Yo, when that game, the review came out for GameSpot and it was 8.8, holy shit. All the Nintendo dudes got banned. Yo, all of them. Yo, the banned Wasteland became the Nintendo forum because they were all banned. That shit was 8.8. It was the biggest fucking thing on that site. Yo, it was hilarious. Everybody's like, yo, this game flopped huge. Huge. Yo, they even like changed the website, right? And like they took like the cover and they put like the meth face or the smiley face. Yo, it was some funny shit, bro. They even named the site, like the site was called System Wars. They crossed it out and they put TSHBO, which stood for the sheep have been owned. It stood for the sheep have been owned. Like the site, like when you log on to System Wars, like I remember when I logged on, right? I logged on System Wars and then it said TSHBO. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I saw that the game scored 8.8. Oh my God. Yo, they got destroyed. And that's how things were back then. It was the reviews. I remember PC gamers on GameSpot got destroyed because they were hyping Doom 3 to be a AAA game. And that game didn't score AAA. It scored like 8 something. So even the PC gamers got fucking slaughtered. Yo, but that's how shit was back then. Games were rated based on the ratings. So now to answer Halo Storm's question, would Cuphead be considered AAA during that time? And the answer is, let me look at Metacritic. All right, I'm gonna look at Metacritic. Let me look at the score. Let me do a search. Give me a second. Cuphead scored at 8 is average 88. No, it wouldn't be a AAA. It would be considered a AA game. Like Super Meat Boy, that was a 90 plus game if I remember correctly. That was considered a AAA game. Braid, Xbox 360 first came out on Xbox 360 and it averaged a 93. That was considered a AAA game. Those games, even though they were indies, they were considered AAA games because of the quality of the game based on the reviews. So 90 rated games, whether it's an indie or big budget title, that was the category of AAA. It wasn't the budget. And the reason why we didn't go back that way is, again, like Too Human was like a fucking $100 million game or some shit. They spent an incredible amount of dollars on that game, and it's rated a 65. So no one was going to call the game AAA, and it's 65 simply because the company spent money. So it was more quality-based or review-based and not money-based, because then you just throw money at it, then every game is a AAA game, even though it sucks, whatever, right? Aaron Summers says, isn't the term AAA due to budget size? That started in 2013, a little bit in 2012, 2013. The industry, the publishers, kept talking about AAA, but they associated the term with budget. And they kept talking about it, and they kept talking about it, and they kept saying AAA budget, AAA budget, AAA budget, AAA budget. And they said it over and 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 over till it became the standard. Now, today's standard, AAA means budget. Everyone accepts that. And that's exactly what the industry wanted. The reason why is, again, you can have a game, let's say like fucking Rise. Rise average in Metacritic. Let's say Rise. Rise average in Metacritic is a 60, and I'm going to do Order 1886. Order is a 63. So you got two AAA games, right? Order 1886 and Rise. They're fucking 60. Back in the days, before this gen, they would not be called AAA games. But think about it from a publisher's perspective. If you have a community of people on social media, on Twitter, calling these games, that saying that these games are not AAA, that impacts sales. So they found a way to ensure no gamer will say that these games are not AAA. And if any gamer tries to say Rise ain't AAA, Order 1886 ain't AAA, you're gonna have gamers argue that point, because now gamers accept games being AAA based on budget and not on quality. So you can have the shittiest game in the fucking world, it's going to be called a AAA game because of budget. And you can have a game that is the best, most phenomenal game you ever played, and they're not going to call it a AAA game because it's on an indie budget. You understand what I'm saying? That's just the reality. You know? That's just how it is. You know? Now, the problem with the Order 18, there's barely any gameplay. You're right, there's barely any gameplay, but the problem is they still spent the big budget because of graphics and cinematics and all this other shit. They put the money into the look of the game and not so much on the content, you know? But at the end of the day, whatever. Gamer M said, oh, let me go to Super Chat. Harry says, for me, AAA is how little of potential a game has left to be any better than it is. For the budget of the developers had to spend to develop a game. That's a good way to look at it. You know, we need to go back to the old system. I kind of agree. We need to go back to calling games AAA, single A, double A based on its merit and not based on fucking, you know, P-Rock, you're mistaken. Sony updated. Traditional conference. Yes, no. I already covered that in the beginning of the podcast. Don't let the title. I already discussed that. It is a traditional conference. I covered that in the stream. In fact, I heard the broadcast, and that's why I was going to complain. I'm like, man, these guys are bugging. So what else? Sea of Thieves is trash, and it's called the AAA game. That's why I can't these fools seriously. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Sea of Thieves to me is not a AAA game because, you know, there's a lot of games I don't consider AAA. I personally, and I don't push this point out because I understand the system change. So I'm not going to bring out something that most people hasn't adopted. But to me, games like Order 1886, Rise, those aren't AAA games for me. I don't look at them as AAA games. You know, they flop. They're low-rated games. Games have to have a certain level of quality for me to look at it as a AAA title. I don't go by budget. You know, you could put as much money into a game as you want. Doesn't mean it's AAA simply because you decided there has to be a level of quality to the game. You know, and that's just me. But I leave that on a separate note. I don't really push that out to anybody because I understand I understand the accepted standard. The accepted standard is AAA means budget. Doesn't mean quality has nothing to do with it. You know, you can have the best indie game in the world. It's still an indie. It's not AAA title. And, you know, which is a shame because last gen, there was amazing indies like Braid. Braid was a huge game back then. Super Meat Boy was another big game back then. But that's because gamers was calling these games AAA titles. You know? And there was a lot of games that flopped. You know, Haze. Anybody remember Haze on PlayStation? On PlayStation 3? That game was trash. And notice, nobody's, you know, it was accepted as trash, and that's it. We moved on. That's because nobody was calling Haze a AAA title. People wasn't calling Haze a AAA title because it was garbage. But technically, in today's standard, Haze would be regarded as a AAA title. People will call it AAA, even though it's fucking abysmal trash. Remember Lair? Lair was another trash game on PlayStation 3. But in today's world, we will say Larry's a AAA title because of the budget. Yo, D-Devil, what's going on? ¿Y qué lo que, mi hermano? ¿Cómo está? But today's not the case. You can have a garbage game. It's AAA. So Nintendo, I mean, not Nintendo, but the industry won. They got us. They suckered us into adopting a system where they can't lose. The industry cannot lose in this battle because, again, we accepted AAA as dinero, change, cheddar, lettuce, which is a damn shame because it shouldn't be that way. All right? But anyway, I'm going to cut the stream short. I'm going to cut it off. Well, not short. I'm going to cut it off now. Been on this for a minute. Sup, PR, you son of a gun. What's going on, General? You know what I'm saying? Damn, some of you are joining now, man. Damn. I gotta go. I gotta play some games. All right. I'm gonna spend the last 5 minutes on Q&A. Kane and Lynch, AAA. It didn't get a 90 rating, so it's not AAA. That's just me. 90 and above. 90 and above. AAA. So what questions you have before I chop it out? Especially for the new guys that joined. That rocked out with me. And again, I appreciate you guys rocking out with me. I'm glad I was able to do a little history. I think it was pretty cool that I was able to bring back some memories of my days of bullshitting in the forums. That was pretty fun back then. It was pretty fun. Any last parting shots, last questions? What if GTA 6 gets an 88 rating? Is it not a AAA title? Yep. Back in those days, not AAA, AA. It was harsh. It was harsh back then. You ain't get that 9-0, you are not AAA title. They don't give a fuck what game you are. It was funny. Like I said, Zelda Twilight Princess. When that shit got 8.8, son. Yo, it was funny. Yo, those days was fun, though. P-Rock, you played Sea of Dog Shit? No, I haven't. You know what's funny? I'm going to be real. So when my furniture came in and stuff, I packed my Xbox because that shit is fucking huge. So I didn't hand carry my Xbox, overseas. I packed and had the movers do it. So that is the one box because I had a kit. I have my Xbox. I have games in there. I have other stuff. That's the one thing I haven't unpacked. My Xbox. It's still wrapped in its protective plastic. It just is like I really have no desire to pop in that box and play it. You know what I'm saying? Like around May 22nd is when I'm going to, because I want to play State of Decay 2. I want to try that out. But until then, the fuck do I do with it? I really have no interest in Sea of Thieves because I'm not interested in games where your characters don't develop and progress. And I'm not really interested in pirates. In fact, I hate that. That's why I can't stand Black Flag. God, I hate that fucking Assassin's Creed. It didn't even feel like Assassin's Creed. I hate that pirate shit. PR, you heard Mixer's doing a God of War bundle? Yeah, we were talking about that too. Alexandru Dotan, you gonna play Detroit Become Human? Hell yeah, I'm gonna play that. Hell yeah. I love Quantic Dream games. I played Indigo Prophecy. I played Beyond Two Souls. I played Heavy Rain. Love them all. I just love them. I just love those type of games. I like the Walking Dead games. I played Batman, Wolf Among Us. I got Game of Thrones, but I haven't played it yet because I want to watch the show. I haven't started to watch the show. Emperor, don't forget to make them understand that AAA was held to a high regard, but AAA was considered good and worth it. Emperor made a good point. AAA games was just the big titles, and that was the stuff we bragged about on what consoles brought to the table. 90 rated games. AA games were still good. Don't get us wrong. We still appreciated double rated games. But when we were talking about bullshit and console warring, we were console warring with AAA rated, 90 rated games. We weren't arguing, oh man, this 70 rated game is good. We did not do that. Like back then, during the PlayStation 2, go ahead and try to use Rise as an argument. Oh my God. Yo, you will get laughed at. Back 1986 or Rise and put them on the table. So what games I consider AAA? I'm still old school. I go by the rating. I don't go by the budget because a quality indie game is better than a shitty retail game. You know, because at the end of the day, the developer put their effort based on the budget that they have. So in the end, to put it simply, the AAA tags was all about the effort developers put in their games. Not a budget. It's not their fault. If they can't get a $50 million budget because they don't have a big publisher backing them, it's not their fault. They did the best with what they can with the resources that they have. So do you give a developer props for a shitty game saying, oh, this is a AAA game because they're backed by a publisher that has the money to do it, but yet the developer that only has access to $2 million, they create an amazing gameplay experience, but they're not AAA because they didn't have the budget? You see what I'm saying? That's why back then, I kind of enjoyed back then because it was on the merit of what the developer did and not simply because you had somebody to throw change at you, you know? That's just how it is. But Detroit Become Human, thank you for the super chat. You're damn right. I cannot wait to play that game. Oh, I cannot wait. Ooh. It's going to be awesome. Truth be told, not a lot of indie games. Yeah, not that much. I think the indie revolution started growing with Xbox. I mean, during the Xbox 360 gen, especially with Xbox Live Arcade. Fahrenheit 911 is the best concert. Yo, that game was awesome. Indigo Prophecy. It was an awesome game. What else? I think we should PR. Do you also hate Uncharted since it's a Pirates game technically? No, what I mean by Pirates is like ship battles. Uncharted, you're not spending all day on a fucking ship, fucking casting cells and upgrading your cannons and just fighting all that bullshit. That's what I mean. Like, I don't want to sail the seas and say, mateys, walk the plank. I don't want to do that shit. I don't do that. I don't want to do that shit. I don't want to walk no goddamn plank. Fuck I look like? Captain Jack Sparrow? No. Leave that shit for, Pirates of the Caribbean. Motherfucker ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that shit. Let's see. What else we got? Did I play Fahrenheit? Yeah. In America, they called it Indigo Prophecy. It was a different title. I know Europe, they called it Fahrenheit. I don't know why they changed the name, but it was called Indigo Prophecy. That was my first game for Quantic Dream, and after that, I fucking loved it. Pordoc, do you like the Order 1886? No, I do not like the Order 1886. I will say graphically, it looks beautiful, but the controls were slow. I think the pacing felt slow. There was only really two useful weapons, the shotgun and the rifle. That a big electric thunderbolt that looks cool is the shittiest weapon ever because that shit charges, but you're getting fucking shot. So by the time it's even something you're going to use, you get killed already. And I played it on a more difficult level, which is probably why. Maybe if you played on easy, you could use it. But I think on the harder difficulty levels, the weapons were useless. I think it was short. It was a very short game. I think they could have added more depth to it. I think they should have added co-op to it. I think it should have multiplayer because I don't think the single player, the way it has, added the depth it needed because it was short. Because the game was so short, then it should have had something like co-op. It would have been a great co-op game. I think the controls need to be better. I think they need to do something like kind of like a God of War, where the world is a little bit more open. It's not level, go in different areas. You select the map, different missions, join up on co-op. I think that game would be great co-op. I think they know. I know they added vampires and stuff like that. The game also had vampires. They need to include more depth, or have a skill tree. And with the co-op, each character should have different abilities, because the game has a little bit of, mystery, not mystery, but fantasy type elements, give them special skills and stuff like that. They should have that. If they make an Order 1887 or whatever, there's a lot of changes. They can't keep with what they did. Because, to me, that it's rated 63. Yeah, that's about right. I don't think the game was good at all. It's not that good at all. I agree with Alex. It is kind of trash. They need to do their thing. They need to improve the gameplay. They need to improve the shooting. the shooting mechanics. Add co-op because you have a team, so utilize the team, make the team unique with special abilities, skills tree, open up the world. You know, really give a nice, good, in-depth world that you can enjoy that stuff like that. You know, things like that, and make the weapons more useful too. You know, like Resistance. That's the one thing I enjoyed about Resistance. The weapons were useful as fuck. Especially, that's what I didn't like about Resistance 2 and 3. Because Resistance 2 and 3, they went with the 2-weapon thing, right? Or did they do that to 3? Well, in Resistance 1, you had a weapon wheel. So you had, you know, they went with the classic Ratchet and Clank model where you had like 15 weapons. I love that because you had so many weapons. You could do so many shit. But then they went to this, you know, you can only carry a main weapon, a gun. And while that's kind of standard with a lot of shooters, I didn't like that. They should go back to the weapon wheel where you have a whole bunch of weapons because it's just fun carrying all these crazy shits. And they have some imaginative weapons and stuff like that. And I enjoyed that shit. We do see potential in the order. It's just whether they push it out. But we'll see with that. What else we got? Malcolm was good. And I think, you know, I think we could cut it out here, right? Here. I think it's time we need to play some games. You know, it's good chatting out with you. Everybody, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your input about Patreon, whatever you want to pronounce it. You know, I'm think about stuff like that. And thanks for rocking out with me. I hope you enjoyed the show. And this is your boy Porter Rock 77. And I enjoyed talking to you guys. You guys are awesome. If you're new to the channel, let's see. Yo, P-Rock, hold on. Yo, P-Rock, can you do a quick recap on the Sony changing E3? All right, quick recap before I go. All right, they are not changing E3. The only thing they are doing different is changing a segment where they have 4 special in-depth coverage of 4 titles. The Last of Us 2, Spider-Man. That's it. Everything else is still pretty much the same format. It's going to be live on stage. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on PlayStation Store, wherever you normally watch it, IGN, whatever. Still conference. They're still going to talk about third-party things they need to announce. They're going to cover a little bit of indies, you know, and I'm assuming PSVR. It's still the same show. Nothing's different. They only going to add in-depth coverage of those for specific games, you know. So who knows? We'll probably see gameplay. You know, who knows what we're going to see for those specific games. But overall, it's still an E3 that we all know. And I will be streaming live. I will be streaming the Microsoft conference, and I will be streaming the PlayStation conference. I'm going to try to get a panel going, so catch me live. In fact, I took those days off, so I will be here up late at night, whatever time it is. I'm going to do live, so rock out with me. Remember, rock out with me those 2 days. I will not be streaming the Nintendo because I'm not part of the Nintendo, you know, fuckboy club, whatever it is. You know, talk to Baron. He's down with that. You know, but if I were to stream the Nintendo, they would just flag my channel and, you know, and then that's it. So I can't stream that stuff. You know, I'll probably do a live post and talk about it, but I won't be streaming it live and shit like that. You know, so, but as far as the Sony Microsoft conference, I will be streaming it live, you know, and stuff like that. Even if it's by myself, I give no fucks. You know what I'm saying? That shit will be streamed live. I'm going to be down. I took days off. You will see me there. I'll probably boot up and have the channel already running live 10 minutes prior, 20 minutes later, like the pre-show, you know, where we're just going to, you know, fuck off and talk shit leading up to, you know, the actual show, you know? So come rock out with me. Hang out with us. I don't think they flag. Oh, no. What they do is they challenge my channel for showing content I'm not supposed to, and then they put a thing up there. I don't think they flag it, but they do the monetization shit, and I get nervous because they be like, "Oh, you've been," and I don't want to deal with that. You know, I don't want Nintendo to sue me for some shit. You know what I'm saying? Porter Rock, don't stream trash. Cough, cough. Xbox conference. No, man, $2. You know, I'm gonna stream it because we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna see it live. You know, and hopefully it's a banger. You know. You know, we're gonna do our thing. Hit that like button. We're gonna do our thing out there. But I will be there live. Well, unless the Marine Corps sends me somewhere. But no, they can't. Well, they can, but they really can't. Well, I took days off for that reason. So that way they know I'm on vacation. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna be here. You know, we you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do this shit. All right. And I'm excited. And I can't wait. And I want you there. All right. But anyway, this is your boy Porter Rock 77. I want you guys. I hope you guys donate a 10 spot for that request. Yo, so I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy your Fridays. Enjoy your stuff. Pretty much, I'm just gonna chill out for Saturday and Sunday. I mean, today and Saturday, because Sunday I'm on the road again for like 4 days. P-Rock, a member of the Black OPD. But anyway, you guys take care. This is your boy Porter Rock 77. Your only friend these YouTube streets. If you're new to the channel, if this is your first time, if you just joined right now, I apologize because I'm gonna shut this channel, you know, cut the stream off. But check it out. It was a good stream. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification, you know, so that way you always know when I'm gonna drop that knowledge. Because you never know when Professor Porter Rock is about to do his thing. All right. You guys be careful, you be easy, enjoy your weekend, keep it gaming, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'm out. Peace.